Alright, get ready. We're talking about winter driving tips. Here we go. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Little guy coming at you here with a few winter driving tips. Alright? These are just a few guidelines, a few things that are going to help you along your travels when that snow starts falling. Alright, look. Here's a few things. I've wrote this stuff down so I don't just go all over the place with this video. Alright? First thing's this. Trip planning. Okay? Know where you're going. Know what the weather's going to be in that area. Okay? Make sure you slow down. Reduce your speed. Increase your following distance. Okay? When it's raining and stuff, you got to increase your following distance. When it's snowing, you got to increase it even more, because the people in the cars aren't going to stop driving like jackasses. So you need to be prepared for that, even extra. Increase the following distance. I don't know if you guys saw the videos from last year and the year before, but there's been a lot of pileups on the highways, where you'd have whiteout conditions and trucks are just plowing into each other, one after another cars, and before you know it, you got 30-40 cars scrunched together like a sandwich. One thing that can help you avoid that is your trip planning. Have a CB radio in your truck. They're not expensive nowadays. Okay, they're a very good tool to have as a truck driver. Okay, and just be prepared, okay? And ways that you could be prepared, okay? You know, we know all the different safety rules. Don't drive tired, don't drive distracted, all that good stuff, okay? But during the winter, things that you really want to pay attention to is don't use the cruise control, especially if it's snowing, okay? You can use the cruise control on flat ground, you know, great weather, whatever. But when it's snowing or raining, I don't recommend using cruise control, because you don't have full control of the truck, technically speaking. You want to have control of that pedal, because when you're driving along in the snow and you got cruise on, even if you're going slow, okay, you're not going to really feel it in your foot. You're not going to feel those tires break free in your foot. You want to be able to feel it in your foot, and you will feel it, okay? If the tires break free and you start to slide, don't slam on the brakes. Whatever you do, do not slam on the brakes, because what's going to happen is that trailer is going to come swinging around and smack you in the face. It's called a jackknife. Don't slam on your brakes in the snow. And there shouldn't be any reason to slam on your brakes in the snow if you're slowing down and giving yourself proper following distance, okay? But if there's a situation where your tires break free and you start to slide, don't hit the brakes. Try not to. Try to hit that throttle a little bit and power through it, because if you hit the brakes, the trailer's going to come around. 9 out of 10 times that trailer's going to come around. Alright? Make sure you're using proper safety equipment. Make sure you got some good boots on, some all-weather boots with some good grip on the bottom of them. You don't want to be wearing shoes that, you know, can slide around easily, you know, because the steps are going to be wet, the ground's going to be wet, you're going to go to get up on the truck and you're going to slip. It's happened to me before. Learn from me, okay? Some good footwear, okay? Make sure you got a jacket, a hat, gloves, extra boots or shoes. 2 pairs of shoes, okay? The reason why I say always have 2 pairs of shoes is because if you're out there chaining up, whatever, and you get soaking wet in the snow and the rain or whatever, what are you going to do now? You're going to be screwed, okay? Bring extra clothes, bring extra shoes, alright? Make sure you leave yourself plenty of time, okay? Things to look for, excuse me, I'm talking with my hand over here like an Italian. Things you want to make sure you check, okay? You want to check your engine oil, your coolant level, power steering fluid. You guys are checking that all, you know, anyway on your pre-trip and stuff. But make sure you check it whenever you stop, if you can. The reason why is because you could be driving around on flat ground in, you know, 50-degree weather, right? And everything be hunky-dory, pre-trip good, you hit the road, and now you drive up into the mountain where it's like 0, okay? what happens sometimes is rubber hoses and things like that tend to shrink when they get cold, and that's how leaks happen. Okay, it's happened to me. It's happened to me. So make sure you keep an eye on your coolant, your oil, all the fluids. Bring extra stuff with you: a gallon of coolant, a thing of oil, washer fluid, all that good stuff. Have extra stuff, extra lights. You know, you should on the side box of your truck, in the side box wherever it is, you should have a toolbox with all the good knickknacks. Okay, anything like, you know, small pliers, a good little toolkit, keep that with you. Okay. Now let's talk about fuel a little bit here. Okay. It's a big issue. All right. You want to make sure that you try to keep your tanks full, especially when you're in weather below 30 degrees, okay? The reason why is if you run your tanks from full to empty, okay, and the truck sits overnight or whatever, and you go to start it up in the morning, there's gonna build a buildup of moisture is gonna happen in that tank, and your truck might not even start, and if it does start, it might not run right. They sell additive and everything for you to put in your truck. You know, there's what's that stuff called here? I'm trying to remember what it's called. Diesel treat and all that good stuff. You can additive you can put in the tank to prevent the fuel from gelling up. I can't remember the name of it. Anti-gel. But anyway, you can put that stuff in there. I'm gonna tell you, I personally have never used it. Okay, I've been driving for almost 4 years now. I've never used any anti-gel. Most of the truck stops during the wintertime have it in their tanks, okay? In their big tanks. That when you pump in fuel, you're pumping in anti-gel, okay? But it's not gonna hurt if you put the stuff in. The only time that I've ever seen a truck freeze up from, you know, the fuel freezing up is one, because the fuel tanks were too low, okay? And two, the truck sat too long. When the truck is sitting, not idling, no APU running, no nothing, and it's still, it gives that tank and the fuel time to sit still, and that's what makes it freeze up, especially when there's not a lot of fuel in the tank. So, keep the tanks full, and when it's below 30 degrees out, keep the truck idling, okay? Keep it idling, so that way everything stays warm, the engine stays warm, the oil stays warm, you know, because I guarantee you this, that most bunk heaters will not keep up to keep the inside of the truck warm when it's below 30 degrees. Most trucks won't keep up. Bunk heaters won't keep up. You got to keep the truck on, keep the heat going, or else you'll freeze to death. All right. Trying to think of what else. I can go on for hours. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing in a nutshell, guys. All right. Look. Be prepared. Okay. Other things that you could bring with you are you could bring a bag of kitty litter. Okay, a big bag of kitty litter. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know if you guys saw the video that I did way back when. It was like Valentine's Day, and we were in North Carolina, I want to say, in Greensboro, I think, at the TA, and I saw a guy. It was snowing really bad, and then the next morning he woke up and he couldn't get his truck out of his spot. He was stuck because of the ice. So he was rocking back and forth, hitting it with a steel shovel, trying to break up the ice. There's lots of ways you could get yourself out of a stuck spot. And a bag of kitty litter sometimes will be your best friend. Sand, you know, anything really, to be honest with you, that's dry, you can keep in a giant bag. Throw it down there on the tires and get some traction. But with that being said, try not to park in a truck stop or a spot where it's covered in ice, you know, or covered in snow, because it's going to freeze overnight and you're going to get stuck in the morning and not be able to get out. Make sure you, like I said, stay warm, stay dry, stay hydrated. Don't let your tanks go empty, your DEF, your fuel, keep them full as much as possible. And I'm gonna end the video with this because I can go on forever. I have notes here. You know, I've checked everything. You know, but here's the thing, okay? And this is a big thing. And this is how I'm gonna end the video. I know there's chain laws out west, okay, and stuff like that, and you know, they close the road down a lot of times out there and whatever. But let's say you're on a load, right? And you got to get it there. It's got to be on time. You don't want to mess up your on-time record or whatever, right? Well, if it starts snowing really bad and the roads aren't closed yet, right? But you don't feel comfortable, better yet, you don't feel safe driving that truck through that weather, you better pull off the road and you better shut it down. Now, here's the thing with that. Yeah, you got chains. Yeah, your truck's running properly. Your dispatcher's gonna be like, well, we gotta get the load there. We gotta, ooh, your dispatcher's probably gonna try to force you, not force you, I don't wanna say that, but he's gonna try to push you to get that load there on time. Well, let me say this, and this is coming from me, the little guy. You don't feel safe driving that truck through that weather, shut it down, okay? My philosophy, and like I said, I've been driving for almost 4 years, I have not chained up once. Mostly because I haven't been out west that much in the wintertime. I was only out west in the winter once, and that was when I very first started with Warner, and I didn't have to chain up. But even still, my rule of thumb is if the chain laws are in effect, you don't need to be driving on the road unless it's an absolute emergency. I don't care. Oh man, you know what's the matter? You don't want to chain up? What's the matter? Are you a wuss? You don't want to chain up? Listen, bro, I'll tell you straight up. Hell no, I don't want to chain up. Are you kidding me? Now, if I have to, I will. But if I don't have to, I ain't. Here's why. One, it's a pain in the ass. Two, it's freezing, it's raining, who knows what it's doing out there on the side of the road, and you're trying to chain up, and you're all soaking wet. What happens then? Forget about chaining up and driving. Now you're sick from being soaking wet in freezing cold weather. For what? Oh, so the load to get there on time? Look, comes back to this. Safety is first, and then it's about your health, okay? And those two kind of go together. So if you don't feel safe, and it's that bad out there, get off the road, give it a few hours, and then try again. Trust me, you'll thank me in the end. Don't try to be a hero. I learned the hard way. If you remember back, when I was driving day cab for Raven, I checked the weather that morning in Ohio, and the roads were clear, everything was good to go. As soon as I got across the state line into Kentucky, Kentucky didn't have the roads plowed at all. There was like 3 feet of snow on the ground. I ended up trying to be a hero, making it from the state line south of Cincinnati there, down into Louisville. The sun was coming up, people were sliding all over the road, and then there was that huge 30-mile backup. People were stranded there from the night before, and what happened? I got stuck there in my day cab from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock that night, and had to spend the night in the truck. Don't make the same mistakes I made. I've made them. That's why I'm telling you. I can go on forever, but I'm not. Those are the basics. Hit me up if you have any questions. Facebook page. Send me a message right there. Boom, in the description box. Be safe out there, guys.